Ms. Shweta from Studio Meraki. Shweta has 13 years of experience in the industry, including a successful role as a sustainable design consultant in Singapore post the completion of her MS in Building Performance and Sustainability from the prestigious National University of Singapore. The studio's practice is diverse and ranges from architecture, green building design, interior and furniture design, as well as graphics. So let's welcome Ms. Shweta.
I think, yes, it's a very important topic that needs to be discussed. And I have always been giving a lot of talks on cognitive architecture and building healthy spaces and how human psychology is influenced by the spaces we dwell in and the emotions involved in everything. So having practiced as a sustainable design consultant for 2 years, coming back to India, setting my own practice now, I think I do have a fair amount of knowledge to, give some introduction to this topic. Talking again about is green architecture always mundane or does it lack aesthetic pleasure? So like in politics, we have this leftist view and extreme, right wing and left wing. So in our industry as well, there are these two extreme disparate approaches, which are very different from each other. So one school of thought says that a green building design primarily focuses on technology, efficiency, high building performance, achieving the green ratings, achieving what you call certain parameters. Like, for example, focus is a lot on energy and water efficiency, daylighting, thermal and acoustic comfort, fresh air, sustainable materials, etc., etc. All these are mentioned in our rating systems. But primarily we design for, physiological and psychological comfort of human beings as well. This school of thought believes that there is no aesthetic pleasure or delight in eco-friendly structures. And the green design movement primarily started with this thing that our eco-friendly structures are always plain and ugly. And there are two, I remember an interview in which there was a LEED platinum rated building, and a user said that, she feels that it is too technologically focused. It's like a building corpse. So it is less human. It's less humanized. And a company probably cannot accompany ecological sustainability. And these two are absolutely conflicting concepts. And green buildings lack any kind of aesthetic allure, and the function always trumps over the form. This school of thought is again very extreme because these are, I think, just misconceptions. And the flip side of the argument is that buildings lacking any environmental standards are an absolute waste, and they are an unnecessary opulence and waste of resources. But I would just like to run through 5 quick buildings in this short span of 8 to 10 minutes that I have to show that green buildings are not just about achieving, I need to achieve these many fresh air exchanges, this is my relax level, this is my cooling load. It also has a lot to do with, influencing the emotions of people, designing beautiful buildings. They can also adhere to the norms of beauty and style, and they are just not ugly pieces that are just performance-based machines. So, yes, one of the first buildings that comes to my mind is the Pixel building in Melbourne, which was actually Australia's first carbon-neutral structure. So in this building, the main elements of sustainable design, passive design, are these recycled color panels that you see, and they are actually to maximize self-shading and to maximize daylight control and glare. But if you see that this building is actually a landmark in itself, and the features that are used in sustainable design are actually the features that make it stand out and make it a building of aesthetic pleasure. And I don't think that it's just primarily focused on being ecologically sustainable, but not considering a visual delight in mind. Now, second, well, I stayed in Singapore for 2 years, so I know that Singapore is one of the precursors of the sustainable design movement in Asia and as well as the world. So, this Oasia Hotel is actually in a very dense central building district in Singapore, where it's like a concrete jungle, where there are absolutely no green spaces and no space to breathe. So, this building is actually in the sense that it has an internal green courtyard, and they've managed to create a vertical plantation and an aluminium mesh on the facade that acts as a sunbreak, as well as this whole green facade is actually inviting all different kind of species of birds, and this is a unique ecosystem and a natural habitat in itself. And there are a lot of open gardens and sky terraces that provide lighting and cross ventilation, reducing the entire energy consumption by 29%. So, along with the other sustainable features in this building, I would like to say that this building again it's beautiful in the sense the way it uses the louvers and the greens, and it has again formed a landmark in its area just because of its beauty. So this is again how a sustainable material can be used in a way that it can form a trend. So in Germany, there is this sustainable farmers market concept that has been started, and they are using locally sourced prototype timber construction to fit any typology. And these small typologies of locally sourced timber are being screwed, and at site they're creating this very beautiful. If you see these detailed, zoomed in construction details, and these are just being repeated to create a very beautiful structure. And the timber, as we know, has lower ecological footprint than the other materials. So it forms it's a harbinger for using sustainable materials in a way that you're not restricted by the material usage in terms of a lot of designers think that, oh God, we have to stick to these materials, so probably we cannot innovate enough, or we cannot be creative enough with our designs and the way the whole building comes up. So you can see as this market has again become very interesting a market concept in Germany. Well, this is a pavilion at Endeavour Square, London, in which basically, if you see, it's like it's a square in which you have coffee shops, and there are people who are congregating. It's a place of interaction. It's again is a landmark, and it brings sustainable architecture, fun, and placemaking together. So again, you have these cross-laminated timber panels, and all this lightweight timber structure is designed parametrically, and it forms again a sustainable design, keeping in mind how creativity can go to its maximum. And this also forms a very important landmark in that area. This is a very old building actually, but I have to talk about it because this building got its LEED Platinum certification way back in 2008. And this has been done by Renzo Piano, California Academy of Sciences, USA. As you can see, it's very different in its approach. The building has a lot of other sustainable features that I can go on and on talking about. Solar panels, geothermal energy, a lot of things. But since I am talking about beauty and aesthetic in sustainable design, I would like to focus more on how the building engages its users, how there are these green domes and skylights, and how the user experience has changed in these buildings. And of course, it does form a very important landmark in that area, and it attracts people from all over the world. It is a tourist destination. So I think it just becomes a very unique building in itself. And the people who are constantly saying that green buildings mean absolutely very boring stuff, and it is just a waste. They are ugly, they are plain, they are just very dull. I don't think that's the case, and I hope that I've been able to shed some light on this topic through a quick run through my case studies. So I think that that's my time for right now. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.